today me and Ed are gonna go and do a little bit of sight fishing in East Bay, and kind of what we've got is it's late February, early March, so the water temp is still a little bit cool. A lot of the seagrass has already died off, but we have had some pretty sunny mornings, so we should be able to, you know, we're gonna start off, it's gonna be low water, but as the water comes up, it's gonna warm up pretty quick, and we should see quite a bit of action from redfish on the flats. How you doing? I'm Captain Nathan Chanot, and I'd just like to welcome y'all to Guide's Tales. Have a special treat today. I get to fish with my very good friend, Captain Ed Zayak, and we're gonna take the Towee out today and do a little bit of sight fishing, but first, we gotta stop by How Tackle and make sure we have everything we need for the day.
So, I'm in town, we're doing my favorite thing. We're gonna cruise around, do some shallow water sight fishing for redfish,
Yep.
but I wanted to swing into How, and somebody that's coming into town to do this, we have all the stuff. We know what we're gonna do. We've been doing it for years together, but just walk me through and show me like what you would throw into a basket, just pick like from the beginning, like we're gonna go sight fishing red, somebody that's new to town, doesn't know anything about it.
Okay.
Like let's go through and just show them like, this is basically your kit, you know, to get you started to get out on the water, because honestly, when you walk in here, there's so much stuff.
Absolutely.
It's a little bit overwhelming.
It is. It can be kind of confusing when you look at all of it. So I guess the best thing to do is we'll just kind of walk around the store a little bit, and I'll kind of show you some of the things that I would typically go to pick up, just like some of the basics that anybody can use and start catching fish pretty quick. You definitely want to have an assortment of different DOAs. This one actually happens to be one of my favorite colors, but
and that's just a shad tail. It's cool. We can rig that different ways. We can put
that's
that
right.
on a jig head. We can rig it weedless.
We're also going to grab some snake oils here this time of the year.
We've crushed them on that before.
That's right. We're actually going to start having a pretty good flush of eels coming out of the bay headed toward the Gulf. So, you know, one of the things about it is, you know, how do you're going to choose to present it. Jig heads are always a great way when you have, you know, when I say clean water, I say clean, and I mean there's not a lot of snags, there's not a lot of grass hang-ups, maybe the bottom's sand or mud or something that you're not going to really have to worry about getting hung up too much. My next favorite thing, well, you know, really one of my favorite things is to throw some top water. The mullet are just starting to come back out of the bayous now, and they're on the flats, and one of my absolute favorites right here is this Skidder V. It's got a great profile. That little, you know, it walks good, but it walks with a lot less effort because of the taper on the bottom.
Like a little keel.
Right, it's almost, it's like, it's got a really great action without having to do a lot of, you know, a whole lot of heavy twitching.
I like the color.
That's a great color.
Kind of
We'll
looks
grab
like
one
everything
of
we see swimming around.
We're gonna grab some of our, you know, I like fluorocarbon and monofilament both for different reasons. This is the advanced hypercolumnar monofilament, but I will use this in a lot of instances instead of fluorocarbon, especially if I want a little additional stretch in it for some of the fish that have a little bit softer mouths, like, you know, big speckled trout and stuff like that. So we'll grab some of this, and I think if we just get us a few different sizes of hooks, that should pretty much round out, you know, round out the day. So
cool. VMC.
Oh yeah.
They have a bunch of different hooks.
They do. So these Rapala plugs that we got actually come standard with VMC trebles on them. And a lot of times what I like to do for some types of fish, you know, especially like the big bull redfish, if we know that that's what we're gonna be targeting, these are the inline replacements so that we can put single hooks onto our Rapala plugs, and that's gonna do a good job of holding on to some of the bigger fish.
Oh yeah, and easier to unhook.
We're gonna grab us a couple, this 5/0 tournament circle hook right here with the bait stopper on it is gonna be a great bait when we get to flipping mullet and pilchards. We'll grab one of those, and then I kind of like these. These are just a good general purpose, 3X strong. So, you know, in the bay, we still get some different types of fish like snappers and groupers and stuff that we run into. And you know, without having to go and use a really, really big hook. These are 3X strong, and this is kind of a perfect size for a lot of the baits that we're gonna be using.
And you know, what I do at home with these is when the bigger baits flush into the estuary, I'll throw our 5.5 big jerk bait, and I'll just nose hook it with those.
Okay, yeah,
And
man.
the action's incredible.
Oh, I bet. It's got nothing in the body. It's just rubber, so that's
just work it and come tight. There's no hook set, it's a circle, and when they're buttoned up on that thing, when they're hooked, we call it buttoned up, but when they're buttoned up on that, usually they don't ever come off.
Awesome, awesome. Well, let's go pay for this and get out on the water. Oh, there we go.
All right. Nice. Oh. You know, once or twice a year, I get the opportunity to come up, fish with my buddy Nate, and I'm always looking forward to it, especially the springtime fishing when we're poling and sight fishing. It's just something about it. It's just fun, it's easy. It reminds me of when I was a kid, and you know, fishing can get pretty complicated. We can make it very complicated, but just something about the simplicity of grabbing a sack full of artificial lures, jumping on a little skiff, going and having fun. Just, man, I really look forward to that each year.
One of the really awesome things about fishing out of the Towee is just the simplicity of the whole deal. It's a, you know, small 16-foot technical poling skiff. You don't just tiller handle. The majority of what we do on it is shallow water, poling around, and looking to throw at fish. So it's kind of a little bit more like hunting than it is fishing, but going right along the lines of the simplicity of the boat is the, you know, the ease of the gear that we need to use. So we don't have to have a big giant tackle box in the boat. We usually will keep 1 or 2 little small boxes on the boat that's gonna have, you know, a little variety of some soft plastic baits, some shad tails and some little jerk baits, some jig heads, a couple different types of hooks to either rig it weedless or whatever. And then we may have a box that's got some top water plugs and various different things like that. But throughout the course of the day, because this boat is built to do something kind of specific, you know, for what we're using it for today, you know, we're not gonna need a whole lot of gear. What we're gonna have here is right when we get over around this point, it's gonna be kind of just a real subtle depression. It's gonna go from about a foot and a half out here to about 2 feet. And there's a little small ditch up there that kind of feeds out of the woods. So those fish will kind of get up in there and
sounds good to me.
hang around. And
It's been a while since we fished together. Well, I guess we fished in my town a little
yeah,
bit.
oh yeah.
Since the last time I was up here.
You put me on the only tarpon I caught all year.
Yeah?
Actually, yeah. And see, we've got just today, it's kind of, we got a little southwest wind, so the water's probably actually gonna fill up pretty good. Had we had like a north wind, which is typical this time of year, this water would actually be much shallower. We'd have to fish on the little outside bars, and which we're gonna cross over onto here in a minute. So,
well, I enjoyed having you down for that summer tarpon fishing.
There we go, fish on, buddy. Man, there's more over there too.
Guy's coming right at us. A little red. Yeah.
Pretty little fish, not a bad way to start the morning.
That's killer. I'm not kidding, as soon as it touched the water, he had it.
And he was kind of in the right spot. This is, you know, this is about 6 inches, 8 inches deeper than what we had back there, and that's a perfect example of just those fish kind of sitting right down in one of those little depressions. And
that's cool.
Right on the outside of this little run out. You know, over the years, all the rain and stuff from back there has just kind of built a big sandbar right here, and those fish love to hang all around the outside of it.
There's that little curl tail.
Man, that's a great color. Great, great color. Golden brim. And we know when this water's cooler like that, I like throwing a shad tail, you know, which is what I got today, but that bait right there is a little bit more subtle. It doesn't quite have the little thump and vibration. I just saw some more fish right out here too in front of us.
No, that's a cool little bait.
Good deal.
And I walk by that thing at the shop all the time, and it's like I forget how.
That one, I like that color of it, and that bloodworm is another great color for it. Perfect.
Sweet.
Rock on. Let's do that again. All right, so you know, every morning when we leave out, we typically have an idea of what it is that we're gonna do, and you know, sometimes Mother Nature just decides that you know, she has different planned for us. So this morning was no different. We wanted to leave out and we wanted to get into some sight fishing, and by the time we got to the dock, we noticed pretty quick that we probably weren't gonna get it due to pretty heavy and thick fog. So, you know, instead of being bummed out and saying, oh, hey, you know, let's just put it back on the trailer, we decided, you know, we were gonna just change gears a little bit. And there again, keeping in line with the simplicity, we just used the same kind of tactics and lures that we had and just kind of changed to a slightly different type of location and just did the best we could to have a good day.
I'm gonna tie on something different real quick, Nate. I'm gonna throw on this skitter walk.
Oh, nice.
You know, this.
Well, we've had some mullet rolling around up here, so it's not
Kind of what I was thinking.
not necessarily a bad idea.
Yeah. Plus, I can throw it a mile,
That's
cover
right.
a lot of ground.
We have great conditions for it right now,
Yeah.
too. Just a
Overcast.
real light breeze, not quite slick, but just a little light breeze and nice low clouds. So I think you might ought to be able to entice a few of them.
Oh yeah. Dang, that thing throws a mile.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. This is the lure that I give people all the time when I'm trying to teach somebody how to walk the dog.
Mm-hmm.
That action we're giving right now, right? A lot of folks struggle with that. And this is one of the easiest baits to get it to balance or whatever it is with it. It's super easy to walk. So this is the kind of what I
And
give
you can
newbies.
kind of teach them, I've always tried to teach them, like instead of just going, you know, constant back, forth, you can just kind of twitch, and it'll jump and jump back, and you can let it pause for a second and just, you know, bump, and, you know, they'll kind of figure out the cadence and speed that they need to get it to kind of move the way they want it to.
It's fun to watch somebody finally get it. You know,
The
get
next
proficient
cast,
with it.
kind of throw just to the right of those birds up in front of you. Kind of the edge kind of swoops out kind of in front of the boat right there, and there's a little corner where it kind of runs into this another little spot they like to hang out a little bit. All right, there's another fish right here to your left in front of you. Yep, That's a mullet, but there's one going to the left, just past the mullet. I don't know what you see him going kind of away from us. Looks like a redfish or a little trout. A little small red.
Oh,
He come off?
No,
No, he's coming at you.
this is a little micro something. Let's see what it is. All right, a little red.
Oh, micro mini redfish.
I'll take him right now.
Hey, listen, sometimes you just gotta get a little momentum.
We just need it one.
That's it, momentum works in fishing too, you know.
We just need it one to do it. Come here, buddy.
That's cool, it'll get it started. Get you waiting for that thump, you know.
Yeah.
Half the time, that's, you know, just what it is, being ready. Man, that's such a pretty color sitting there in his mouth. That golden brim's definitely.
Get the fish monkey grip on him now.
That's right.
It's not coming off. Woo.
Whole team two-handers, huh? Pretty. Oh yeah. Let's go get his grandma now.
Get out of here. You know, coming up here over the years, Nate and I have had every trip imaginable. We've had trips where we've slammed the fish all day. We've had struggle days. So to me, it's just about spending time with Nate, getting out on the water, and just catching a few fish made me completely happy.
Panama City is blessed with, you know, we're called Bay County. You know, our county is surrounded on pretty much all sides by water. So we have connected to the body of water that we were fishing today. We have 4 different bay systems. We've got East Bay, West Bay, North Bay, and then we have St. Andrews Bay. And each of these bay systems is kind of inherently different and offers its own, you know, really good types of fishing, and then places where it, you know, kind of struggles a little. This particular area we were fishing today was some big, wide open, you know, kind of transition between sand and grass flats. Got a lot of undulation to the bottom, so some high spots, some low spots. It had a little feeder creek that poured out to it, and what happens a lot of times when you have those little ditches or inflows is it will actually build up a sandbar out in the front of it. So, you know, you'll cruise down a flat and it may be 2 foot, 3 foot deep, and then you'll get up in front of these and it'll have a nice little hump followed by a little drop off on each side. And these are really good places where redfish or speckled trout or whatever it may be in that particular day, when they're cruising, going back and forth along the flat, it's a good spot for them to kind of slow down and congregate and look around for food. And so those were kind of some of the key types of areas we were looking to target today.
There we go. All right, buddy. Good job.
Oh, not a terrible fish.
Nice work.
Not a big one, but man, when it's tough and it's slow like this, any one that you can get is a good one to start with.
Yes, sir. Check him out.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's back.
Man, he's a pretty color too.
There we go.
Good deal.
He ate it. He sucked that thing in there pretty good. Yeah?
You saw cruising around over there.
Look at this guy's back.
Oh man, he's been, look, he got dolphined up at some point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Freaking not that big.
It does
That
look
sure
like
is
him.
a fat little fish.
Look at that.
I know, look how perfect it matches. Well, we know what you think he's
That's
eating.
crazy.
Awesome, I appreciate your help with that right there.
Nice work.
Cool.
Good job, dude.
Good deal, man. We'll let that one go and we'll go see if we can't creep around and get a few more. He
Yeah.
definitely got grabbed by something.
They did. There we go. Nice.
A little small redfish anyway. Oh,
Got him.
looks like there might be one in that next little corner of it too.
One will keep casting then.
Go ahead and get you one. Cool little 2-spot fish anyway.
Well, you know what's interesting is I just got back from the Houston fishing show, and I gotta tell you, we can overcomplicate fishing. And I see people that are just getting started in fishing, jumping in, they have a giant bay boat, big motor, tons of gear, tons of rods and reels, and we can make fishing very complicated to the point where sometimes you just don't feel like doing it. If you have to launch that big boat and get all that gear together and head out for a day. And there's just something about jumping in that little boat, pulling around East Bay. If you haven't had the opportunity to do that style of fishing, I highly recommend that you get out and try it. You'll love it, and it's fishing in its simplest and best form.